Hey, lovies, it's me, Marie, and welcome to the Discovering Me podcast, where we are talking about everything self discovery, the what, the why, the how. We're giving you tangible things, tangible tips to use so that you can start discovering yourself today, things that you can apply right now. Right now, you don't have to wait. You don't have to take a course. You can apply these tips and these points of wisdom right now to learn who you are, to discover your authentic self. If you're with me, stay tuned. So, lovies, today we're going to be talking about what is self discovery. Self discovery is exactly what it sounds like. You are digging, you are in the act of finding out your authentic self, who you were created to be, why you were created to be that way. We're going to be digging into your story. We're going to be talking about planting versus dumping. And that's something that we all need to really think about and discover. So when you discover things, you have to understand that they're already there. We're not creating anything. We've already been created. We've already been manufactured. We've already been made exactly who we are. So everything that we're discovering is already in us. We don't have to create anything. And that's the thing that happens a lot of times. We try to create this whole new person that we're not, instead of discovering who we are, instead of doing the work, instead of digging, instead of really studying yourself. You try to create yourself to be something that you're not. And so sometimes we take bits and pieces of people that we see, that we admire, that we want to be like, or we want to have what they have, and we start trying to put these pieces together to make ourselves. And we doing too much work. You were created as an individual, uniquely created. There's only one you, and there's only one you for a purpose. We don't need more than one you. Everybody's connected in this world, and we need you for your gifts, for your talents, for the things that make you uniquely you. And so I want us to start discovering those things. Self-discovery is so important, so very important, because we don't want to walk around trying to be somebody that we're not. It's so exhausting, lovies. It's so exhausting trying to be someone you're not. So we don't want to do that. So instead of doing that, we want to discover who we are and who we're not, because those things are very important. The who you're not is almost as important as who you are. Okay. And when you find out who you are, you'll realize who you're not. That's the great thing about it. So it's kind of like a two for. So you get 2 for 1 with that. When you decide who you are, you'll automatically see who you're not. And so we have to, we talked about us already being created. So who created us? Who created us? God did. God, the creator of everything. God, the Father of Jesus. And he, that was his job. That's what he did for us. He is the creator. He is the manufacturer of who we are. I like to say manufacturer because I heard that from Dr. Miles Monroe, and it made things so much clearer. Because you can talk about who created you in the creation, and sometimes you have people that are artsy and understand creative things, and then you have some people that are practical and more logical, so you understand the manufacturing. It's all the same thing, it's just the verbiage that we use is a little different. So when we were created, when we were manufactured, God took his time with us. He already knew every intricate part of who we are. He already knew who he needed us to be released in the earth. He knew who he needed our parents to be. He knew what our personalities and our characteristics should be. All of these things, our eye color, our hair color, how tall, how short, how our voice sounds. He knew everything because he did not make us to just be practicing. He made us for a purpose. There are assignments that we must fulfill in our lives. We must fulfill those assignments on earth. Because, like I said earlier, we're all connected together. So if you don't do your assignments, it's going to affect somebody else. Now, some people choose not to do their assignments, and God knew that you was going to choose not to do your assignment. And God is a gentleman. He doesn't force you to do anything, okay? Please understand, you have a choice. He doesn't force you to do anything. So there are things planted inside you, but he's not going to force you to find them. He'll help you if you want to. And then he'll help you with those assignments if you want to fulfill them. But he's not going to force you to do anything. He's not even going to force you to believe in him. Like, that's your choice. Now, granted, if you choose to believe in him, this self-discovery journey is going to be a lot easier. I'm going to tell you the truth. If you don't believe in God, if you don't believe in the Bible, if you don't believe that God is the Father of Jesus and all the things that we read in the Bible, it's going to be a little difficult to really understand 100% fully who you are authentically and why you were created. Now, you can take some pieces of what I say and some things, some life work that I put out there and do those things, but it's going to be super duper hard to get the whole understanding of who you are. That's just reality. So if I'm not going to assume that everybody believes in God, I'm not going to assume that everybody believes in the Bible. I'm not going to assume any of that, because I don't assume, because you know what that means when you assume. But I do invite you to do that. If that's your choice, if that's what you want to start believing in, if that's what you want to start taking as truth, final truth, then I invite you to do so. And if you need to know how, let me know. Okay. And we can get you to that place. If you already believe, then help others around you. Help others. And you're like, oh, Marie, how can I help others when I'm trying to learn who I am? As we grow and as we climb life's mountains, and as maybe we not climbing life mountains, maybe we going through life's storms and we're learning things, and maybe we've overcome some things. If you have overcame anything, you have something to teach somebody else. Okay. And the fact that you're here, the fact that you are watching this podcast, the fact that you have internet access and phone access or computer access, wherever you're watching this tells me that you've overcome something, because you're surviving, you're thriving. So whatever you overcame in your life, you have something to teach somebody else. Now, if you're not a millionaire, then you can't teach nobody how to become a millionaire. Okay. Nobody's gonna listen even if you try. But anyway, there's neither here nor there. We're talking about what is self-discovery. So I pretty much rounded it out for us. Self-discovery is finding out who we are. I mean, think about trying to find anything, trying to dig. I always think about gardening and digging and going in the dirt and finding things, and how they mine for gold and mine for diamonds, and they're discovering gold. The gold you did not. So the people discovering the gold did not create the gold. They are finding what is already there. And that is the key point and the key purpose of self-discovery. You are finding what's already there. You're not making stuff up as you go. You're finding what's already there. So as you are digging, and let me tell you, self-discovery is not easy. Like whenever we were hunting for eggs, that was super easy when we were children at Easter. And we were hunting for eggs because they would put them out, depending on your age range, they would put them out pretty easy. But then the older you get, the harder it is to discover those eggs at the Easter egg hunt. And so we think about it in those things. It's like, okay, we may be in a very immature state. And that's not a dig. That's just reality. We may have not gone through some stuff. We may have not been able to navigate this world as much as somebody else, or not even somebody else. We're not comparing to nobody else. But as we could have, as we are going to navigate. So you may be in a kind of immature. So God will, once you say, God, okay, I want to discover who I am, or you put your mind to self-discovery, certain things are going to be already there. And you don't have to dig. Other things you're going to have to dig. And we're removing trash. We're removing dirt. We are getting those dirty things that people have told us who we are and people have put on our lives, and it's not true. And we have to remove those things, and we have to clean those things up. We have to move them out the way. We have to move our maybe abusive past. We have to remove all of those things to really find out who we are, because we're not our situations. We're not our titles. We are not the things that we've been through. We are not the things that people have said that we are because of our parents or because of the behaviors that we may have put out there. We are not those things. And so self-discovery is finding out who you really are. And I hope that you start your journey. I can't do your journey for you. I wish I could, but I can't. I don't really wish I could, because that would be so exhausting. But I wish that I could do more, but you have to take this on yourself. It is your self-discovery journey. I had to do my own self-discovery journey, and it doesn't stop until you stop breathing. Let me tell you that, because it's a lot that God put in you. And sometimes he doesn't reveal some things until we've been through some other things, or we completed a season in our life, and he's like, okay, now you're ready for me to show you this, for me to allow you to discover this in your life. You know, the more that you understand self-discovery, the more that you put action behind it, the more God will. The more that you dig, the more that you put action behind it, the more God will reveal to you. The more God will allow you to see certain things. The more you do things. People say practice makes perfect, but no, that's not true. Practice makes permanent, because I can practice the wrong thing and it don't be perfect. Like, I can practice a jump shot wrong over and over and over again and it be wrong. I can practice a crochet pattern and it be wrong, and so I'll just have it just be wrong. But I practice. It didn't make perfect, it made permanent. So anyway, so I say that to say, the more you dig, the more you put action behind it, the more you tell yourself, I want to discover more and more about myself. And the more you put action behind those words that because you can say anything, but if you're not putting action behind it, it's not going to work. It's not going to get you anywhere. You know, I've been saying for a long time, I knew in my heart that I was supposed to be doing a podcast, and I did one episode of a podcast, and, didn't do anymore. And I'm tired of not completing what I start. And so with that being said, if I don't put the work behind it, it's not gonna do anybody any good. Not gonna do myself any good. Not gonna do any of my lovies any good. I have to put the work behind it. So our life work for this week is to start writing down who you are, who you already know, what you already know that you are, who you already know that you are. Remember, you're not your titles. You're not your behaviors. You are not your past. Okay? So those things, your past may bring out some things that you are. Like, you may find out that you're very resilient. You may find out that you are very forgiving. You may find out that you are very patient. So some of those things may bring out who you are, but you may find out that you are a survivor. But the things that were put on you from somebody else, if that's your story, or the behaviors that you had that may landed you in jail, or that may had landed you be kicked out of school, the behaviors that you had that may have burned bridges in your life, those don't define you, lovey. Those do not define you. Okay, that is not your character. That is your behavior, and we'll go into that later. But I want you to start making a list of who you already know, the things that you already know that you are, what you've already discovered before you intently, and before you intentionally, let me put it that way, I think that's the word I want to use, before you intentionally started your self-discovery journey, who did you already know that you are? You just knew it. You've been doing this, you got these gifts and these talents, and you just know it. This is what you've been doing. You're a singer, you're a crafter. These are things that you can put your hands to easily, and they work for you. They may not work for everybody else, but they work for you. So start writing those things down. If you know, like for me, I know I'm a nurturer. That's a part of who I am. I know that. Nobody can tell me any differently. Okay. I am a nurturer. That is what I do. That is who I am. Not only is that what I do, because we can do a lot of things that we're not, you know, but that's what I do because that's who I am. Right. So sometimes your titles and your behaviors and who you are kind of line up. So if you are a teacher, if you teach people things, that is your innate nature to teach people things. You may have become a professor or a teacher, so that's your title as well. And then that's what you do. You teach people. So they all may align. So write those things down, look them over, start contemplating, is that who I really am? Or is that my behavior? Is that my title? Start thinking about it. If you have a relationship with God, start praying about it. Start asking him, because he's the one made you. He know all this already. Make it simple. All right, lovies. Until next time, I'm excited about your life. I'm excited about your journey. And I can't wait to see you on the next episode. Toodles.